Our thriller opening Carrier uses a majority of the thriller conventions we have studied in class, often developing the conventions and sometimes challenging them. In this video we will be explaining in detail where we have used, developed and challenged the conventions of the thriller genre.
Firstly, we have used an enigma in our thriller opening. An enigma basically means that an area of the narrative is puzzling and perhaps hard to understand. In our opening, the enigma is the briefcase, why the male protagonist was asked to carry it, and by who. The viewer may also ask themselves what is in the briefcase too, and why is it so important in the development of the narrative. The enigma is helped by the voiceover of the interrogation over the visuals. We know that the male protagonist is in trouble, and this furthers the viewer's interest in the enigma of why the case is so important.
We have also used themes of identity in our thriller, as we have omitted the female's full facial features and do not include close-ups of her eyes or her full body. Her identity is never disclosed to the viewer. An element of wonder and suspicion arises from this, linking to the convention of an enigma. Another way we used this convention was from the audio of the interrogation. The viewer does not know who has asked the male to carry the case and to be involved in the operation. This is another important unknown in the narrative, as it builds suspense from withheld information of who is at the core of this crime taking place.
Next, we have extraordinary events happening in ordinary situations. Our opening complies with this because of the mise-en-scene conveyed. That the extraordinary narrative takes place in everyday bustling London causes the audience to become more cautious on their everyday journey to work or school. The odd but seemingly ordinary protagonist may remind them of certain people that they encounter every day, causing them to question their perception of what a spy or assassin looks like. The extraordinary narrative, the passing of an important briefcase, causes a police investigation that adds suspense and tension to the plot.
For the titles, they do in a way reflect the protagonist's psychological state. Because the words fade out, this links to the secretive nature of the male and how he's hiding what is really going on, heard in the audio interrogation. We also developed this convention as it reflects the themes of the narrative and not just the protagonists. The font is similar to the fonts we have found in other film openings, linking to the spy-assassin subgenre. The effect we added with Adobe After Effects was called typewriter, and this connotes detective themes.
We introduced the crime at the core of the narrative in the opening of our film. This draws the audience in as they want to know how the plot will be resolved. A passing of a briefcase is shown in the visuals while the police interrogation explains the links between the action being shown and the crime. In this way, the viewer knows that the protagonist is a suspect for carrying the case, and that there is something in the case that makes it a crime investigation.
We challenged this convention in our opening as we purposely wanted to subvert the expectations of an assassin character, or somebody who plays an important role in the spy subgenre of thrillers. The male protagonist's plight of being involved in a crime caused by the passing of a briefcase would not be suspected by the close-up shots of him drinking tea, and also in the clothes he is wearing. They are casual and make him look unsuspecting. He is also shown as not very confident, subverting the stereotypes of the confident male in thriller films who is at the centre of an investigation regarding spies.
Themes of mirroring are included at some points in our thriller. For example, the two characters are shown to be meeting each other and the camera switches between the two. However, there are obvious differences between the two regarding the mise-en-scene surrounding each. Similar shot types, for example close-up shots that show detail and character portrayal, are used for both the male and female characters, building tension until the meeting of the two.
The last convention we will speak about is how the protagonist is normally shown in peril, often near the end of the film. We have challenged this convention because if our sequence had continued into a feature film, the protagonist would actually be shown in peril at the start and not the end. The rest of the narrative would have gradually unveiled the reasons behind the protagonist in peril, shown by the voiceover interrogation at the start.